Lesbians who love love. Welcome back to Queer Women Rising, where I phone my lesbian friends and we talk about queer love, how to dodge the dating drama, and embrace the peaceful connections we all deserve. I'm SophiaSpallino, your lesbian host, and today's life update is going to be so fun for you. It's January 29th that I'm recording this, and it has been such a fun time going through a breakup. Glorious time going through a breakup. But what I can say is positive about this whole experience is the sun does actually come out tomorrow and you will feel happy again. Yesterday was the first day in a long time where I just felt joy. And I had this moment where I was in the middle of a coaching call with a private client. We were working on our social media content and I literally paused and I just said, hold on. And what's so weird is like, I didn't say anything particularly profound. There was no intense conversation happening. It was a great call, but like nothing particularly insightful happened. I hate to say that. That sounds like really bad, but like we were just having a good chat, moving through things. And all of a sudden, I felt this. The only way I can describe it is like a wave going through my head. The way that you feel when you touch your iPhone to another iPhone and you like airdrop something to somebody, I felt that happen in my head. It was, if you're watching this podcast, you'll see my hand. It was like a wave going through my head. And it started in the left ear, went to the right ear. And after that moment, I had a profound sense of peace. And it was weird. I just continued on with the call, continued working. We had a great time, happy client, but I just felt like a different person. And I'm normally extremely OCD and regimented, but right after that coaching call, my family came over to help me. I think making this house a home is super important in my journey to healing from this breakup, especially since it's been about 25 days since the breakup. Yesterday was 24 days. And I had my parents come over and help me hang up some things, which was lovely of them. My mom was just so sweet. She's been so kind helping me through this. Like, I'm talking my mom. I wish everyone could have a mom like my mom because there just ain't enough good mamas out there in the world. My mom just has been such a blessing. She brought me tea and she's just so sweet to help with everything I can need help with, like hanging this here, where to put what furniture, just a doll. So we're hanging up things and I just feel different. And then my dad surprised me and brought me my college bike. I was going to say childhood, but not quite childhood, college bike. And now that I have a house, I have a place to put the bike and I could go on bike rides. So I just felt like a little kid, happy. And there's this part of me that's always had bike riding with my future wife on my vision board as like the moment where I feel like I will have finally made it. Like that simple, just joyful moment of being on a bike next to someone you love, chilling out, and just being on the journey of life together and feeling fully satisfied with that person by my side and riding the bike and being like, yeah, like we're together finally. We made it finally. And I felt that feeling on my own. It was kind of weird. I was just on the bike. There were even times where like I threw my feet up like a little kid, like look ma no hands, look ma no feet. And I was so happy. I was listening to my baby grandma playlist, which by the way, I love sharing my playlist. Okay. Shameless plug for my Spotify playlist. If you want to know what music I'm vibing to and you want to vibe to either the oldies, because I'm such a little baby grandma, or you want to vibe to some really good sapphic music, I have playlists. Oh, and breakup playlist. Breakup playlist. Woo, that'd be getting me through. I have music that you're going to love, and I am a harpist, so I throw my own songs in there sometimes. But I will send you the playlist if you DM me on Instagram, the word playlist. I would be happy to send it your way. A playlist or just a ball of sunshine joy in your day, sapphic joy. And that is what we all need a little bit more of. So, yeah, that's the life update. I'm moving through the breakup, and I think that I'm doing good. This is the healthiest I've ever been post breakup. And it was the healthiest relationship I ever had. It was so good, so chill. And you get to a point where you're just like, I don't know if this is gonna be it for me. I don't really know if this is gonna be forever. And you make the decisions you have to make. But at the end of the day, it was a pretty good relationship. And my breakup healing process has been pretty good. Like, I cannot complain. I'm so grateful for where I'm at. I'm so grateful that I've done so much inner work to feel this way. And I pray that everybody going through a breakup has internal strength that they have developed over years and years. If you have been through pain in your life again and again, the one thing I'm sick of is being the strong one. But I will say, eventually, the things that would have been really hard for you in the past that you would have had to be really strong to do become almost normalized, where it's like, oh, another breakup, I can get through this. And I have the tools. It doesn't mean that you go cold. It means that you're more prepared than ever before. You know who you are more than ever before. And you have everything you need within you. And you don't question that again. And when you are done, you don't go back and you don't play the breakup makeup game because you are smarter now. You know that it's best for you and the other individual involved. And you feel sure and safe in your decisions. You are a sovereign woman. And that is what I'm feeling. And that is where the joy comes from, just knowing that God has a bigger plan. Okay. And we're going to roll with it, honey, because when we make a decision, we stick to it. We honor our gut, we honor our heart, and we know that the path will be cleared. Whatever we're meant to do, whoever we're meant to be with, you cannot lose who's meant for you. And you continue on trusting that everything is divinely unfolding as it should. That would be my target order coming in. As you can imagine, I order a lot of hairspray. I am a Southern girl at heart. Okay. If you are not watching this podcast, like watching it on YouTube or Spotify, what are you doing? All the episodes going forward are going to be filmed, and I'm so excited about it. I even go live on TikTok or Instagram while I am filming, and it's so much fun. It's so much better when you're watching it, especially when you get to see the beautiful guests that I have today. This episode is for you if you are a queer woman and you've always wanted a little family. You want the little house, you want the picket fence, you want the kiddos. You want it all. Everything all those straight couples get. You just want it with a woman. I feel you. Do you know what it means to embrace your full queer truth after living a life of someone else's story? I know I do. I know my guest does because we came out later in life. Maybe you have too. I'm not sure. Either way, you're going to enjoy this one because I know for so many lesbians and queer women, the journey to just authenticity can feel impossible, can feel overwhelming when there's an existing family, existing husband, existing children, societal expectations. Maybe like me, you live in the South. Maybe it's just your own fear that stands in your way, fear of what people will think. Maybe you've been out of the closet for years, but there's parts of you that you don't show online. I was just working through this with a social media client yesterday, and she's struggling so hard to get her message out there because deep down energetically, up until this point, you know who you are. You're changing it, but she was afraid of being seen. being seen by people who knew her before. And I was like, what if I cared what everyone thought who knew me before? The Sophia who was boy crazy, hashtag confet. The Sophia who was devastated over losing a marriage to a man. The Sophia who made Romeo and Juliet music videos with boys. The Sophia who made it such a big deal when I was waiting till marriage. If I cared what all those people who knew the old indoctrinated me thought, I wouldn't be living my life out loud today. There are literally people who are like, oh, you're so fake, you're not even a lesbian. We don't listen to that noise. I know if you came out later in life, you hear this same bullshit. And enough is enough. It's just, it shouldn't be said. It's so invalidating. Some of us just couldn't figure it out until later because of societal norms, because of compulsive heteronormativity, because of religion and indoctrination. Now, Emily Adonna, she knows the latent life path all too well. Emily's my guest today. She is a woman who was married to a man in her early 20s, and she's still raising two children. It wasn't until later in her life where she found the courage to embrace her true identity as a lesbian, and now she's engaged to her fiance, a service member. Thank you for serving our country, which is in need of some major help right now. Let's not even go there. But Emily is sharing the story of this beautiful, big little life that she has with her now partner who she loves, where she can live her truth, because love and resilience and navigating IVF to expand your family is a good story, and I want her to share it. I'm really honored that she's here to be vulnerable with us and how she's inspiring queer women to live authentically. Welcome to the show, Miss Emily Adonna. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm well. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to be talking with you. I've been a big fan for a while, and I feel like a little giddy.
Me too.
So your content's just the most authentic thing in the world. I do not scroll past it. I don't care if your kid has a runny nose and you're talking about that, or you're talking about your coming out journey. Everything just hits and you tell the best stories. So thank you for existing and sharing your latent life experience with the world. And I'm excited to talk about it with you today. To start, what letter of our alphabet soup do you identify with?
L. I'm a good old fashioned lesbo.
I love it. Okay, me too. Me too. And what astrological signs am I working with today?
I'm an Aquarius and then Scorpio rising and Capricorn moon.
I feel like no one should make you mad.
No, but it's so hard. Like I feel like it takes a lot. But then if I'm mad, I'm just like, I'll just never talk to you again. It's fine.
Ever. Like ever. Like once you're done, you're done. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just like the delete button. And I'm Italian too, so it's like just that perfect mix.
Me too. And I'm going through a breakup and I'm just like, okay, like let's like it ends. It ends with
Yeah.
us.
You're
Literally.
like, that's enough.
That's enough. That's enough. Okay. What was your journey? How did you get here being a gay mama? People are like, how are
Um,
you a lesbian? You have children. I'm sure you get that a lot.
Yeah, that's I feel like my biggest thing. People are like, "Oh, it's just a phase, like you're not actually gay." Um, well, I have two kids and I feel like people don't realize like it really only took two times to make those kids. Like it just wasn't a thing I was doing all the time. And I was super young. So their father was my high school sweetheart and we were just best friends. Like I think my unfolding of my sexuality was realizing that I wasn't bi. Like
Mm,
I knew I was always attracted to women. That was always there, but I didn't know that I wasn't attracted to men because
yeah.
I could have great, really robust friendships and companionships with them. And I just thought everyone didn't like sleeping with men. Like I just thought that was a universal thing. It's a joke amongst women.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I
like
thought
everyone's
all
like, oh
women
my
just hate
God.
this.
Yeah, I'm like, I thought we all didn't like it. I was the one who was not in on the joke. So
Same.
that was kind of like a thing for me. And then when I was married, it was just like there was always something missing. Like I just felt like we were best friends and that was it. And I think I just really wanted to figure out what love could be because you only got one life. And I
Yeah.
was like, I think it just has to be with a lady. And I
Mm.
was right. So that's good.
So before that, had you like experimented with women? Because like this was your high school sweetheart, right? So like you've been with him forever. Like how did you know? Did you have thoughts or was it just something where you woke up one day and just kind of knew?
I think I always kind of knew, like, I always felt the attraction to like the female form and not the male form. Um, but I was just like, oh, maybe that's just like a thing that I have. Like, I don't know. I think I always kind of knew we had, but I was one of those girls in high school who, like, when we would experiment with drinking and stuff, I was always like kissing girls.
Okay. Okay.
But there weren't enough lesbians around. So I didn't like, and everyone was doing that. And I just thought that that was normal,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, I
I was
know.
just
I
a good
know.
kisser.
It's like the perfect excuse. I remember in college, like for my birthday, planning how many drinks it would take for me to not look like I was like planning to kiss this girl who is my
Yeah.
friend. Like, how many drinks would it take for me to look not sober? Like, this was an accident, just a fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember planning that. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
So how do you go from being with someone, were you like financially dependent on him? Did you kind of always have your own thing? What was like your career like?
I feel like we were pretty even. I'd always had a career in addition to modeling. Like I never wanted to just rely on that either. So I was like directing marketing basically. And so I was okay and good to split. It's still always hard and expensive. And we live in California, which is crazy expensive. Um, but yeah, that was it
You
was
had
just
your own.
weird to be on my own as an adult because we had always been together. So that was really my first time like figuring it out by myself.
Yeah. And like no matter like I know people could watch this and be like, you're so lucky you had a career, you're so lucky you had your own thing. It's still really hard. It's
Yeah.
still so hard. And there are women who like leave with truly nothing. And no matter what, like all pain weighs the same, according to therapists. And when
Mhm.
you leave and you're used to something, like losing your best friend, some people never really had a best friend in their partner. So the loss of the best friend could be enough to just mentally throw someone off really bad and
Yeah.
get really low. Was it really hard, or did you feel like a sense of freedom over fear?
I think both. I think it was really hard. And I think more so because I never planned to have kids and then to not have them half the time. So my kids split custody every other week. And so there were times where I would really have to sit with myself. And they were super young. They were like 1 and 3. And I was like, I don't have my babies with me. Like,
Oh,
what the hell do I do?
oh,
And I actually ended up dating another man briefly after that because I was like, all right, like now's my time, take the leap. I'm a lesbian. Like I'm aware of that. But then there was another person who stepped in and was right there. And I was so like lonely and confused and just needed like a support
yeah.
that I ended up in another relationship. And I was like, shoot, now I have to undo this one too.
It really sucks because as women, compulsive heteronormativity, we're literally trained to like seek security, man equals security.
Yeah.
And especially having kids, I can't imagine like that's even more pressure.
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay, so how long did it take from your coming out to meet your now partner?
Maybe like 2 years, year and a
Okay.
half.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do like a big like I'm a lesbian. I got out of my relationship, my last relationship with a man, and then I kind of like dated. I was just like I'm only interested in dating women. And at first I actually said bye to a lot of lesbians because I was navigating this on TikTok. Like I was putting by for a while, and then I was like, but I only want to date women. I'm only attracted to women. And they'd be like, well, you're going to go back to a man. Like, we know that you're not a real lesbian. And I felt like there was kind of a little bit of backlash from the lesbian community where it was
Yeah,
like, you're not lesbian enough, or you're just like hopping on a trend. And so I held on to bi for a while
I did
because I
too.
didn't feel comfortable with like being like, I didn't feel like I had enough credits. You know what I mean?
I get it. I think coming out late in life is so invalidating. We even gaslight ourselves to like, well, like at least for me, I had experiences, especially with the last boyfriend, that felt like very safe and nurturing to my nervous system. So
Mm-hmm.
I could never say, oh, like sexy time was painful with him. No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever want to have sex with a man. Like it's just not,
Yeah.
it's not a thing I want. But it doesn't mean that like I can say something specifically bad about him. And I'm sure like you said, like that sense of security, you lean towards it. And then you get on your feet and you realize, wait, if we took away all the things that we're looking for outside of just like pure attraction, who would we choose, man or woman?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a woman, then like, yeah, you give it super clear. And I'm sorry that you had that experience with the lesbian community. I have definitely experienced it myself right when I came out. And I feel like it takes time for lifelong lesbians to like trust that you're serious about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But
And I think
after, oh, go ahead.
I've met people on both ends of the like I know we have a handful of lesbian couples who are married and have kids on our street, which is so lucky. But there are like all ends of the spectrum of like some of them are gold stars, some of them have dated men, and some of them are like, yeah, it didn't really like it wasn't disgusting to me. I just don't want it. And then for me, I think I did it for well past the point that I should have, to where at the end I was like, I will throw up if I do this again. Like I just don't want it.
Yes. Yes. I totally get that. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather never be with someone ever again than be with a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless them though. I mean, they're amazing people when they're good men. There's some left in the
Yeah.
world.
It's so exciting to meet a nice boy, but just not in a erotic way.
Exactly. I try to explain it to people. I'm like, so I can look at a man and think objectively that is a good looking human the way I would look at art, but not want to F my painting. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like, yeah, like, but with women, yeah, so different. Like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. And yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, how did you know that this one was the one for you?
I'd actually taken a break. Like I was like, I think I'm good for a while. Like I feel like I know myself now. I feel like I know what I want. Because I did date a few women kind of like short term.
Mhm.
And I don't think that they were ever people from the jump who I was like, oh, this is gonna be like my wife. I think I was just navigating what I wanted out of a relationship with a woman and what that kind of like balance was like. And so I felt like I did that. And then I was like, all right, I'm taking a break. I'm good for a while. Like, let me just get my footing by myself again for a bit. And then I went to meet a friend and her group of friends, and Lauren was just in that group of friends. I was
Mm.
like, oh no, my break's over. Like, I just saw
You
her
knew.
and I was like, it's over. It's a wrap. Like, if she wants to date me, I'm dating her.
So you just like it was
Um,
kind of like
that's
a
it.
love at first sight.
Yeah, I was just like that's the one. I was like, that's the one. I don't care. I was like, it could be tomorrow, it could be in 10 years. And I was like, but I found it and now I am at peace. Like I just felt calm. I wasn't really nervous. I was just like, okay, perfect.
But
Found
before
her.
you talk to her, like you're looking at her and you're like, I'm
Yep.
dating.
I was like, that's it. Figured it out. And she was like kind of navigating a breakup. And
Oh,
so it took like a month. Like I planted the seed and then it took like a month for her to like get into my DMs. And I was like, I knew you'd be here. I knew this
yeah.
would happen.
I love those knowings. Are you spiritual, Emily?
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. I'm like, I kind of like. I was taught like evangelical Christian. I put a lot of that to rest, but I still love Jesus. But
Mhm.
I also really get down with past lives. Like I'm like, I feel like certain people, you like travel in a soul group and then you're going to meet each other in different lifetimes and eventually like you overcome the challenges. Like for you to see her and just know, I feel like there has to be some sort of history there.
Yeah, there was something really cool to it. And it's something that's kind of followed us through this relationship that has been so unique to this one that I haven't experienced in others because she just is like this calm for me. And I also think she's like the hottest thing. But I
Yeah.
had never had both. Like it was always like I was sacrificing one or the other of like passion or like calm.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh no, you're everything. Perfect.
Oh my
Done.
God. So that's the dream. I'm always talking about creating a healthy relationship, but finding your dream person.
Mhm.
And I know it's possible. I am out here like in the trenches, being like, let me help you find your future wife. And then I just went through a breakup and I'm like, this sucks. Like, how do I explain this to the world? But finding that person where you just know and things are just easy and they bring you peace, like that is everything we could all want. I know no relationship's perfect though. Like, do you guys have like a go-to way to handle conflict?
I think it's kind of evolved throughout our relationship. Like at first, we were kind of testing out like a few maybe old patterns and testing out like, is this going to be the relationship where if things are hard or if I'm like my worst, will it work for you? And that was like the first few, maybe like first three little tiffs.
Yeah.
And then after that, we were like, okay, I've seen your worst, you've seen my worst, and we're good. So let's just agree to like never go there. And so I don't know, I think my biggest thing from the beginning has been if we're ever at odds and it is both of our impulse to maybe push the other person away, let's do the opposite and just lean into creating a soft space.
Mm.
And we just have a lot of grace for each other. We're like, all right, I can see that you're feeling however you're feeling, and you probably don't feel like expressing it to me, or you do. We just try to create an environment where the other person feels love, and we prioritize the other person's comfort. And then we know we're going to get to like addressing our things.
Yeah.
But I think there can be like we're both strong and smart and like passionate people. And so I think we try to avoid getting into ever like a power struggle or making the other person feel small or unheard.
That makes sense. What do
Just
you,
softness always.
yeah, what do you think is the first step to creating the safe space? Because in the heat of conflict, like nothing to our nervous systems feels safe. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm like, this doesn't feel safe. Please give me some time alone. Like, that's just what I need. What do you do so you do come together rather than seek safety outside of each other?
I try to see it as like a competition. Like just that's my hack for my brain of like who's going to offer a hug first or like who can push past like their stubbornness first. And I don't even know if she knows that she's playing that game, but I'm always like, all right, I feel like being kind of jerky right now. So
Yeah.
recognizing that instead, she probably just wants a hug. I know internally I want one. I don't
Yeah.
think I do in this moment, but I'm like, all I really want is to be like loved right now because I'm probably not feeling that way. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, if I just offer it up, if I offer up to hold her hand or lay with her or whatever, I get what I want and she gets what she wants.
Yes. Yes.
So
Like
I just like push myself to do the right thing.
that's so good. You're like gamifying it as being the bigger person, I suppose, but without like,
I still feel like I'm winning.
yeah, where you still feel like that's actually really smart. Okay. And I think that would work especially for people who are having a little ego struggle, you know? Like, okay, we can let the ego win, but we're gonna gamify it this way. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Or
I've
I'll just be
never
like,
heard.
I'll make it playful and I'll be like, I'm so mad at you. Let's lay together. And then it just like kind of lightens it up.
I've never heard anyone say it like that before. And I feel like if a lot more people who are successful at relationships were honest, they would probably say that. Because I feel like it doesn't always come from a good place. I think like sometimes not a bad place, but it comes from even like a selfish desire to just, hey, I actually need the hug right now. I actually
Yeah.
need to sleep right now. And sometimes it's hard to think about oneness. It's hard to think about, well, for the greater good of us. But sometimes it's just about like, hey, I actually need peace right now. And so the way to
Mhm.
get it is to be humble first. Interesting. I like it.
Yeah, you have to figure out what works for your brain. Like I know the ways that I'm difficult. And so if it's but it's also my job to combat that. It's not her job to figure out how I'm difficult and how to like break through that barrier. So I have to like find my own little hacks like that to be like,
Yeah.
okay, I feel like I'm winning. I did it. Good job.
What are you most difficult about, Emily?
I
Air
don't
your
know.
dirty laundry.
I think I think just at times I mean, I'm sure I'm always trying to like undo trauma responses.
Yeah.
And I think at times I'll get scared of like maybe distance or something. Like, I don't know. I've never been scared she was going to leave, but I
Yeah.
think I'm scared of losing connection, maybe
And
because I've like had a marriage and kids, and I know that like life happens. And so to a degree, I think that I'm scared of losing that like spark.
yes, yes, yes.
It's the spark. And so it's very important to me to not like let that fear take over, but to do things in our relationship that maintain it and do the like John Gottman like 20-second kiss before you leave or whatever the little things are in a day that just maintain like, hey, I see you.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. Okay, so it's 20 seconds, Gottman
I think
says.
so. You start releasing oxytocin at like 20 seconds.
Oh my gosh, that is like a long kiss, unless you're
No,
making.
wait, I was wrong. It is a 20-second hug, a 6-second kiss.
Okay, that's what I was like. I think it. Okay, cool.
But I like a 20-second kiss. So we're gonna let Lauren think it's 20 seconds.
Is it like Doris Day style, like 1950s, where you keep your lips together, or are you fully making out for 20 seconds?
I don't know. Either way, I feel like it's fine.
I when you say 20-second kiss, I'm like picturing the old movies where you just hold it. You know
Just
how
right
they
there.
like, yes. They
Yeah.
won't even open their mouths. You're just like, what's going on right now?
I mean, honestly, we are never more than a few inches apart when we're at home. Like we are always just like stuck to each other. So
Mm.
it helps. But if we do have like a little bit of space, I'm just like, hey, what's going on? Is everything fine? Because we haven't touched in 5 minutes.
I
It's just
call it,
unsettling for me.
it is unsettling. But what you're talking about, I call the lesbian velcro. Like, could never do, I used to say I could never do long distance relationships. I'm in a velcro relationship. And then I got into a long distance relationship and we still had so much like safety where it felt like velcro, just the same, like just constant
Yeah.
communication. Yeah. I think velcro is the lesbian way. I don't think there's
Yeah.
another way.
Well, there's always people in like the comments who are going to be like, well, you're so clingy or whatever. But disclaimer, she is that way too. Like we're both that way. And she'll also do the same exact thing and be like, where have you been this last 5 minutes? So just so everyone knows, we're
Yeah, and
both like,
people are like, oh, it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. Like you're meshing. And I'm like, that's bullshit. My last relationship didn't end because of how close we were. That's for sure.
yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm like, we're so lucky as lesbians that we get to have our best friend, partner, everything in one person. I want to do
Mhm.
everything with her. Like, that's my goal with my future wife. Okay, what's your
Yeah.
favorite thing that you and Lauren do together?
Oh my gosh, like literally nothing. I think I love like getting in bed together and just like we talk about everything and like end up laughing so hard every night.
Mm.
Like we just belly laugh. It's like those sleepovers where you like stay up too late and you can't stop laughing. I feel like that sums up our relationship.
How long have y'all lived together?
We do like on and off. She's working on moving. She's in the military, so it's kind of difficult to just like up and relocate.
Yeah.
So when I have my kids, I am like an hour away for Monday through Friday. And then I take them up to her for the weekend and we all hang out or she comes down. And then the weeks that I don't have them, I'm with her. And
Okay.
we've been doing that pretty much since we started dating.
Hey, that sounds like it's working.
Yeah, I mean, we would obviously love to have like one household and we'll do that soon.
Yeah,
Um, but in the meantime, it's been fine.
that's good. That's good. Okay, how long have y'all been dating?
Like 2 years.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I have not had a long-term relationship with a woman because I just came out and started dating women a couple years ago. So I'm still waiting
Hmm.
for my moment to get past the 7 month, 8 month mark. Haven't.
It's weird. It's like hard to figure out. I think up until her, I was really confused by what I was looking for and what I needed because sometimes you start dating a woman and then you're just like, oh, we're just friends.
Really?
Whoops. You're like, there were a few, well, actually, there was two where like they were a few months. And I was like, I objectively think you're so pretty, but we're just friends.
How does that happen? Like, do you just stop like doing the dirty? Like,
I don't know. I think I just like one of them was kind of just not a great, like, she was an influencer and just wasn't that authentic. She's pretty much the opposite of like how I carry myself online. So
you're not
everything,
a victim of Miss Arizona.
no, nope.
Praise
But
God.
we can talk later and I'll tell you who
We
she
could
is.
talk later.
I don't know, she was just kind of like artificial and it was never meant to be a serious thing. Like I said, I was kind of navigating what I needed.
Yeah.
And by the time we were like a few months in, I was just like, I don't really feel romantically about you. And also, you're kind of like a bad person. So that, that kind of wrapped up. And then the next one, we kind of played relationship. Like I thought she was so cool and so sweet. And we had both been out of relationships for a while. And so I think it was really more of a thing of like, I'm just having a girlfriend. Like we just want someone to buy flowers for and
Really?
like let's fill it out. Yeah. And but I could only really say that in hindsight. Like in the beginning, we were just like, okay, like I think you're hot, you think I'm hot. Let's hang out and see where it goes. And then pretty quickly I was like, I think we just want to play girlfriend. When
So
that ended, we were immediately friends. There was not a tear, not even like any disappointment. We were just like, all right, cool. Like let's fist bump and move on.
interesting. Okay, so that just was like the attraction part was either not there or it just fizzled out and then you're just friends and it's easy. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't have like the emotional like tie to them. I don't know. They
What
just
do
weren't
you
it. But that second one was someone who like I think I didn't realize at the time, but I wanted to be more of the kind of lesbian that she was. I think I admired her as a lesbian. I was like, I like your style. I like I ended up with a lot of her hand-me-downs. That was just it. And I wasn't like I couldn't figure out what my lesbian attraction was.
Ah, like your type.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I want to be you or if I want to date you.
Interesting. So now do you have a distinct type?
Yeah, I think I figured it out like right before I met Lauren and I was like, until I see that, I'm not I'm not dating.
Interesting, interesting. It's so weird because I feel like I I have two different types. I have a type that if I see a mask that I'm into, it's got to be like this type of mask. And if I see a femme I'm into, it's got to be this type of femme. So like I have two different types for the two different spectrums. I
That
think
makes
where
sense.
I don't have a type is um like someone who's more in between. Like they like you could look at them and not know they're gay and they're not extremely stylishly femme. Like that, like they're just
Yeah.
kind of they wear feminine clothes, but they're not like extremely stylish.
Hmm.
I'm like, if I'm gonna date a femme, I want you to be like woman, like
Hemmed
polished
up.
up. Oh yeah, femme it up. Like, let me see your beautiful hair, nails. But if I'm with a masculine woman and she's distinctly masked, she doesn't have to be over the top mask. I think, okay, I think it's that I just like someone who knows who they are. Like, whatever your style is, you're that like really hard and you're not like fluctuating in your style. I think that's
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. I think that like kind of expresses like a certain level of confidence. Confidence is a big thing for me. Like I want to date someone who does know who they are and what they like and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
That,
Lauren is really middle of the road. She wears makeup and has long hair, but will wear like boy clothes. And I was like, perfect. Because
yeah,
I do want a little bit of both worlds.
but like I can look at her and she knows who she is. Like you can feel the energy and the content where she's not
Hmm.
like teetering on like she's got a distinct look and
Yeah.
that is hot. Like it's cool. Y'all go together. It's like yeah, you just do. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's funny because when I started dating her, people would be like, what kind of like mask would you say she is? And I was like, I don't know, maybe like a chapstick mask. And she was like, I'm not mask. And I was like, you kind of give mask. Like,
She
you
does.
kind of do. And she's like, but I'm not. And I was like, you kind of are. It's okay.
Okay, real quick, I need to tell you about Wisp, an online healthcare service that is for the girls, gays, theys, and me. In fact, for 3 years, they have been a part of my daily regimen. I know many of you listening long to create beautiful, women loving women relationships. And that, my dears, begins with excellent kitty care. Like, no offense, I don't know about you, but I personally don't want to be at a kitty cat cafe, if you know what I mean, that doesn't provide the freshest dessert for me to lick. So do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, and keep your kitty cat cafe fresh. With Wisp, everything from the consult to receiving meds is done from the comfort of your phone, and the company is proud of being inclusive, cost effective, and accessible for everyone. Wisp believes that you know your body better than anyone else, which means no more urgent care visits for issues such as UTIs, yeast infections, or STI treatment. You can save so much time not going to in person appointments or waiting in line at pharmacies. The free shipping will save you so much time. Or same day pharmacy pickup can have you feeling better faster. Before Wisp, I was prone to getting BV, but my kitty pH balance stays perfect. Chef's kiss now that I am on a consistent probiotic regimen. Ladies, this is so important. Personally, I subscribe monthly to Wisp probiotics, Sexy Time Lube, and OMG cream. It's like female Viagra. I also get D-mannose and boric acid vaginal suppositories as needed, so I'm prepared if something starts to fill off down there. Also, if you're about to meet a new partner from my lesbian dating platform, you definitely want to be tested before sleeping with someone new. You can order discreet online testing from your bed before you jump into bed. Go to the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to hellowisp.com and use my code SOPHIA for 15% off. That's code SOPHIA, SOPHIA, for 15% off all your kitty needs. You're welcome. Okay, back to the show. Oh my God. Okay, I know you can't like speak for her, or maybe she's so open about it that you feel comfortable. Just tell me if you don't want to talk about it. But I'm curious, like, what it's like to be queer in the military. Like, is this weird or is working out okay?
I think so. People have asked that question before, so I'll kind of give like the answer that I think she would give.
Yeah,
And she really hasn't experienced a lot of like difficulty. Like I think the military is such an equalizer
that's
where it's
good.
like you have every race, you have men, you have women, and at the end of the day, you have jobs that have to be done. And so I think everyone's been really respectful to her, and she really hasn't faced anything there. It's more like the real world
Yeah, or like the real
where
world. Yes.
where we have to like deal with that. But I think also she's such a likable person and people really respect her. So it's like just her sexuality is neither here nor there. Everyone who meets her like loves her.
I love that. That's good to hear. I had a friend in the military who is straight, and like her experiences were just horrific. Just the amount of trauma. So yeah, that's actually really refreshing to hear. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I think it's person dependent too. Like when I was exiting high school, I was thinking about joining the Air Force and because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was like, I can get yelled at, I don't care. Um, and one of the recruiters was kind of like flirting with me and it totally brought my guard up. And I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not interested. And so I think it just depends on the person. She also joined later. Like she was in boot camp at like 30.
Ah,
So that's like another story probably too,
yeah, yeah.
versus
Maybe
doing it
one
at like
day.
18, being like, hey, you know.
Maybe one day I'll have you guys both on. But I know I feel like every lesbian influencer or person of the internet, maybe like me, you hate the word influencer, but just like our partners are more shy. I think it's just like what we attract.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally is.
Totally a thing. Oh my God. Um, I I just it's so beautiful how opposites attract, even in lesbian world, and how you make this life together and you learn to navigate with each other and get each other. So she's more quiet. Are you are you able to navigate that without it being personal for 2 years and you understand her now? And like, what was that like, her accepting you as a person of the internet with her more private life?
I think sometimes it makes her like a little anxious. And so we've just been able to kind of talk that through. Like I told her from the beginning, like, hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud to be with you. And this little world that I've created is really an extension of me. And that's what I want to share with people. And so, like, what is your comfort zone? How involved do you feel like you can be? And I also give her like the opportunity to be like, hey, delete that, cut that. I don't want that in there. I'm nervous about my badge showing for the military or whatever the thing
Yeah.
is. I make sure that I give her the opportunity to consent to whatever is going up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, at the end of the day, like this is my life before it is my business. And so if it's ever going to be something that is going to cause a problem between us, it's not a question. I'll cut whatever, I'll decline whatever partnership or whatever it has to be.
Yeah.
But she's also like, she's so supportive. And even though it's not naturally her personality to do this, she's like, I want you to be happy. This makes you happy. This is what you love. And I think she sees that I'm very mission oriented. Like I'm not doing this to be known or to make money. Obviously, I need to because I have children, but like I'm doing it because ultimately because I want to touch people and connect with people. And I really think that we have a lot of work to do. And I think
Uh,
that social media is such a powerful way to do it.
it really is. What is your mission for the future? Like, how are you going to get there? Is it through like keeping this your career with brand partnerships? Like, what's your ultimate dream of moving forward with your platform?
I feel like there's so many ways to go. I think partnerships have been a big one because I don't have like I haven't transformed this into a business and I'm really hesitant to ask my community for money in any way. So I've tried to make sure that most of my income comes from brand partnerships because I don't have a big offering right now. And so my partnerships I'm really strategic with and I will only work with brands who totally align and or who are resources that I feel can help the community.
Do you want
So
my honest thoughts as like a business coach?
yeah, sure.
I, especially with your modeling background, would probably do exactly what you're doing. Do not start selling anything to people and just
Yeah.
so selective with your brand partnerships. The way like I literally only work with one company, Wisp, and like I love it. People trust me with it. Like
Yeah.
you so selective and then just keep growing it to where your videos are you have such high engagement because you're not offering a lot of things that you're able to
Yeah.
rack up the dollars on the partnerships in ways that people who are selling other things can't because
Yeah.
their engagement's not as high. So I think you're going down the right path, especially with your modeling background. Oh my God. Okay, I'm nosy about that. Like, what is that like? And are you still modeling?
I'm not anymore. I stopped recently though, because I started when I was 15.
Wow.
I did it as a way, well, I was scouted, so I was like excited to do it, but I think I was so awkward and I wasn't really comfortable with myself and really like love being myself when I was that young. And modeling was a way for me to step into like an alter ego. and kind of dissociate a little bit and be like, okay, here I'm cool and I'm confident and I can be weird and that's celebrated, and I can have a tooth gap and that's celebrated. And like, it was just my space where I was in the zone. I loved being creative and like watching like professional stylists and like people, photographers. I loved watching them work.
Yeah.
And so that was just a totally different, like Hannah Montana-esque space for me, um, to learn like a creative process and to kind of be my most confident self. And so when I started creating, I was like, oh, I'm no longer running from myself. I'm no longer having to step into somebody else. I found me. And now I want to present myself as exactly me
Mm.
and build from there. Like, I don't want to be like, you're cool because you're a model. I want to be like, you're cool because you're Emily
Mm.
and because nobody else is Emily. And people will like that or they won't, but at least you're being 100% you.
Yeah, that's good. I think creating for yourself made it just so obvious that you're like going against yourself in some ways. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then you feel that, and then it's hard to go back. So it's really brave of you to like stop a stream of revenue completely. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But, like, speaks to how authentic you are. I'm curious because I knew your face before I saw you on TikTok. Like, I know I've seen you places. Like, what were your biggest, like, proudest moments in the modeling industry? If you can legally share, because I feel like I've seen your face in commercials or I don't know. Like, were you an Abercrombie model? Were you a Victoria's Secret girl? Like, what were you?
I did a lot of stuff, and I've looked very different throughout because there are a lot of things that are like super photoshopped, and then some things that aren't. So I did a lot of makeup. I did hair. Like, there was a hair commercial that I did for like Madison Reed. I did a
Ah.
lot of Banana Republic was like my favorite. Like, they booked me a few times, and after I worked with them, I was like, that's it. That's my pinnacle. Cause they're like, it was just so cool.
Mm,
Their
that is
whole like operation and like going to their headquarters and stuff. I was like, this is it.
that is it. That's amazing. But I maybe it was the Madison Reed commercial. I feel like we were all trying to dye our hair during the Rona at home, and
That was big in the South. That one did real well in the South.
oh yeah, I must have seen it. I'm definitely a Southern girl, Jesus. Okay, interesting. Okay, well, I would say Banana Republic is huge and something to be really proud of.
Yeah, I think a lot of my favorite ones were honestly just like the small, like there were some photographers who were like, I have this vision, I'm gonna pitch it to magazines, like let's do a really cool shoot. And so I think just like getting to work with people and see things manifest from their brains as just like a little idea and create something was like honestly my favorite part.
Yeah. Do you feel like you get to take some of the experience there? And as a creator, I know like you literally you write the commercials, you style the commercials, you like all this, like you're doing everything that you were,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you
Yeah,
got
that's
paid to
that was my
model in the
dream.
past. Now you're getting paid for all the freaking jobs.
I mean, you really do everything, and it's like a one woman show. And I couldn't vocalize it because creating or influencing or whatever was not what it is now when I started, and I didn't know what all went into it. But when I was modeling, I was like, my dream is to do all of this. Like, I want to set up a shoot. I want to have the vision. I want to execute it in just the way that I want. And so this really gave me the space to do that. Um, and that's why I think I kind of lost the spark for that and it moved into this.
I'm really proud of you. It's a huge
Thanks.
leap. Okay, are there any projects that you're working on now that you're most excited about?
I think I've kind of turned our IVF journey into a big project. Something that I noticed when we were looking at it and kind of starting was how many people don't know about it,
Yeah.
don't know that it's an option, don't see it as something that will ever be accessible to them. And so I'm working right now to at bare minimum, do some kind of major giveaway at the end to make this a reality for somebody. Um,
Wow.
I know that there are so many people out there who really want to start a family and who just don't see the path to doing so. So a big goal for me is to be able to help queer families to grow and ultimately to show people like, hey, we're queer. Um, and we're great at all the things. We're great at business, we're great at being partners and friends and moms. If that's something that you want to be. So yeah, that's I think just trying to fill out my life and what makes me feel whole and being able to help use my platform to make that accessible to other people.
I love it. And that is huge because I know that one of the biggest challenges for queer couples is the cost of IVF. Like, that is a luxury, and it should be
Yeah.
something that we can access. What blows my mind is straight mother truckers can just have a drunk night, are not qualified to have children. Many, not all, but
Yeah.
many should not be having kids, cannot not only afford to have children and like feed them, but like they're just going to traumatize them further. Like there's just it blows my mind. It blows my mind. I live in the South. I see people just popping out babies so young and they don't necessarily even want them, but they feel they have to have them because, well, not having a baby, we're not going to say the word, but exterminating the pregnancy would be like a bad thing in the South, right? Like with religious
Yeah.
trauma. So what we end up with is people who really don't really want kids from like this sacred wholeness in their heart of like, I really want a baby. I want to bring this life into the world and be the best mother I can be. It's more like people who just got stuck having a baby. And it's wild to me that queer people are so intentional when they want children. They so badly want to bring a child into the world for the most pure reasons possible to raise a baby, to teach it so many great things, to just be a great parent, maybe a parent that they didn't get to have. And yet it's so hard, not only financially to make it happen, but even in some states legally. Like I had
Yeah.
a gay guy couple friends where like they can't get a surrogate. Like certain things are just illegal. Like
Mhm.
it's mind blowing to me because they have financially, they're going to be able to give a kid an incredible life. Them spiritually, mentally, emotionally, give a kid a great life. How is this happening? So it just breaks my heart, and I'm so excited about your mission. What has been the hardest part in the personal side of it? Like, who is actually getting the injections? Tell us about that process. Is it you? Is it
Um, so it's her. We've used her egg to create the embryo. And so leading up to the egg retrieval, she had a lot of injections. I think there were like almost like 30 in the weeks leading up. And I gave her all of those, which was amazing. She didn't want to do it herself.
Oh,
And so I did it, which was a really bonding process because we would be like crying. I would sometimes cry because I hated like hurting her and like seeing all her injection sites and having to give her another one.
yeah.
And then she would cry because she just felt uncomfortable. And so I think that was actually like the most, for me, beautiful part of the process, even though it was like the worst,
Yeah.
because it was just both of us being so raw.
Mm.
Um, so that was the first part. And then she had the egg retrieval where they do put you under for about 15 minutes. I cried the whole time because obviously I cry all the time. Because I was just like, she's out and I'm the only person here. And like, are you done with her yet? Is she safe? Is she okay? Is she breathing? Like, it shocked me how nervous I was.
And you don't get to be
Uh,
in the room, right? Like you're in the waiting
no, I was
room.
in the waiting room pacing like I gave birth to her myself. Like I was just like, "Oh my God, is she okay? How many minutes has it been? Like, can I have some tea or something?" Like, I was just freaking out.
Oh,
But it went really well, and she was just bloated after, like ultimately fine. And then some people have to do shots leading up to their embryo transfer. I didn't have to. So I think everyone's course of action is different. I don't know what you can ask for or what you need for your own body, but I just had to do progesterone. And so there are a couple different ways you can take that. Mine are like oral and suppository.
okay.
Um, and then the embryo transfer itself to put the embryo into me, I was awake. They just use that darn speculum to spread you open, and then there's a little catheter that goes in and drops the embryo in.
Wow. Okay, so let me get this right. You're gonna carry?
Hmm.
Okay. So you're taking her eggs. Okay, this is beautiful.
I know it's a lot.
No, it's wonderful. I love it. There's so many different ways it could go. Like I've known people who they each have one. Then okay, these other girls just gave each other an egg. Like there's just so many different ways, beautiful ways for queer people to make families. Oh my God. Okay, so you are with child now? Is that what's going on?
I don't know. So we have all of our testing this week.
Okay.
So we'll see. Hopefully, it's kind of
Oh,
like you're pregnant until proven otherwise if it doesn't stick. But yeah, all the steps are done.
I'm so excited. Okay, please update me on this, and I'm gonna send all the good vibes this week that you get good news.
Thank you.
Okay, and this step beyond this, I obviously want things to go great. But if for some reason it wouldn't, what is the next step to like what is the next step? There's got to be another.
Yeah, so we are really lucky that Lauren had a ton of eggs and we were able to make enough embryos to we have them on ice. And so if we need to do it again, or if later we decide we want to have 4 kids total, which it seems like a lot, but whatever, we can always use one of those. And it's just the same thing. They just can go ahead and thaw it and then pop it in.
I love this. I love this. Okay, so thank you for explaining. And when you guys started talking about having a baby, was this something that you were like, I want more kids, or was she like, I want my first from my body baby?
It was both. I think like I was open to having more. I don't think I would have felt devastated if I found a partner who did not want more. But I was like, I don't know. I kind of feel like doing one more and doing it like right. I was so young when I had my girls that I obviously wasn't like super in love. I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. It was like a scramble to get my life together. And so now I'm like established and found the right partner. So I was so excited at the idea of it. And she had always wanted kids. And I was like, well, like let's carry on your bloodline. And I already had my chance to have my like genetic babies.
Yeah.
And this was a way where she didn't necessarily feel a strong desire to be pregnant. And I was like, I'll do it. I love it. It's so cute. And so it was a way for us to both be like biologically involved, which I just think is the coolest thing.
I think the coolest thing as a girly who has a background with like some eating issues from a young age, the fact that you can have modeled, overcome the modeling industry, and you're just like, I'll pop out another baby. Like you have that much just body positivity. Like, oh my God, I wish we could all have that. And you look freaking amazing. Like,
Thank
amazing,
you.
amazing. You're gonna be the cutest mama ever. All mamas are beautiful, but you're a freaking model. Like, you're legitimately a model. People need to be watching the video version of the podcast.
Thank you. It's like a journey. I think because I had him so young, I was 20 when I had like my first stretch marks from giving birth and stuff. And I popped back down to a little size, and that's, I guess, great for what it is. But I realized like parenting is just the most rewarding experience for me. And like the only thing you take with you, I think, is just love and
Yeah.
not all of the body stuff. I'm like, I'm good with me. Like I finally got to a place where I'm good with all my flaws and everything that's going to go wrong. It's probably all downhill from here unless I invest heavily in procedures. So I'm like, either way, it's I'm not going to be 19 again. Like it's just not going to happen. And so all I can do is just build and create love and hope for the best. Hope
Yes.
for you.
How old are you two?
She is 35 and I'm about to turn 29.
Okay. I remember 29. I was like, this feels so weird. It's my last year in my 20s. But also, I was in such a different place at 29. Like, I was just starting to build a career, and I obviously have no kids. Like, you're a full grown up at 29. Such a
Yeah,
different
it's
world.
weird. I feel like I've been doing it for so long, like I simultaneously feel much older.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, my daughter had to tell me the other day that I was turning 29. I was like, I'm turning 28. She was like, you're turning 29. I was like, there's no way that's true. I was like, I just lost a year and I didn't realize it.
You look so young though. I feel like you probably aged in reverse when you quit dating men.
That might be a thing. It could be the fountain of youth.
Could be the fountain of youth. I will say, like, the type of moisturizer we get as lesbians is just simply better than being with guys.
I agree.
There's that. Okay, looking ahead, what is the hope for your future? Just in life with your partner, do you see marriage? Is that not a thing? Do you not need marriage to like have this family? Like, what does that look like for you personally?
We are going to get married. I don't think either of us, ironically, because I have like this whole platform, are big on like being, I don't know, like the center of attention. I don't feel like either of us feel the need to have like a big wedding or are as excited about that as like having a baby. So
Yeah.
I think we will likely go down to a city hall and make it beautiful in like a very small way.
I totally get that. Like
I think that's the plan.
100% get that. We have cameras
Yeah.
in our face all the time. Like I've done the fairy tale wedding with a man. So every woman that I begin a talking phase with, I let them know right away, like, I'm not interested in a big, if you want it, by all means. But for me,
Yeah.
that's just like not like I don't need that, period.
Yeah. Neither of us. And we're also pretty like frugal people, just to be honest. Like that's why I'm not out here like, oh, you need to buy this purse. Like that's just not the kind of like influencer that I am. We're
Yeah.
pretty frugal and like pretty basic people. And so I'm like, I don't really want to spend $30,000 on a wedding. I would rather invest that or anything else. Take a vacation.
Same, same. Personally, I would like if we're talking like where are we gonna spend the money? I want a nice engagement ring and I want my partner to have a nice engagement or wedding ring, whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Because that to me that's like forever. And I saw your video about your rings and I was just like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I love this. I grew up with my family in the jewelry business. So like I geek out
Oh,
for her jewelry. I was just like,
yeah.
this is amazing. But yeah, I think there's just other places to put your money, like you said, investing, like actual real life things. I can't get over. I cannot get over that people spend, even when I got married and had my dream wedding, I still handcrafted a lot of things. And my entire wedding, including the honeymoon, which the honeymoon was like luxury. It was 10 years ago. Let's account for inflation, but still everything was under $15,000. And
Yeah.
that was like a huge wedding with a luxury honeymoon included in that. So really the wedding was probably $7,000. And
Yeah.
I can honestly say even that was too much. I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah, I've always believed that just like for me, and if again, if people want a dream wedding and that is like what they want out of their life, by all means, like do it and I'll accept the invitation and I'll go and be so happy for you. But I
Yeah,
think for me, it's just like rings are like a great because, like you said, they're forever. Pictures, like I'll invest in a great photographer
yes,
because
yes,
that's what you keep. Other than that, and it, honestly, if you have a great photographer, it doesn't even matter how the wedding looks because they'll make it look amazing.
they will.
So
So
like that's all you really need to put your money into. And I think as like queer women too, it's so important for us to create generational wealth and to make sure that we're being responsible and financially literate. So that's like a big priority for us over having like a big wedding. But it'll
I
happen probably
agree.
soon and probably like spur the moment.
Yes. And as much as I love watching your content, I hope that you get to keep it as private as you want because I know how sacred it is for you and I know how hard it is to balance the privacy and like people want to see your happy moments, just like people want to see like right now my breakup. And I'm like, I have boundaries around this. Like I was not going to talk about it until I was at a certain place. And I think like happy things are different. You may want to talk about it sooner, but
Mhm.
it's not your job to have the camera in your face during your vows.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what we end up sharing. I think our proposal was one of those things where we were both like, let's do this private so that it's organic and it's not like it doesn't feel manufactured.
Yes.
And for my followers, because I know a lot of them do genuinely care, and I'm so grateful that they do. But I was just like, hey, you guys okay with the fact that like when this happens, we would like to keep it between us? And everyone was like, yeah, by all means, do it. So I think that's a thing too, is like knowing that like I'm in control is also maintaining transparency and being like, hey, I'm going to include you guys in my decision to keep this private. Are
Yeah.
we all good? And then everyone's so supportive.
Yeah. I remember seeing that video and I was like, please keep it for yourself. Like it feels so real. But again, if your partner, if you want a dream proposal, your partner wants to surprise you and film it, okay, cool. But if you know
Yeah.
it's gonna take either one of you out of the moment to have like some high pressure thing, I would honestly rather my partner propose to me in a bubble bath at home or just dancing in the kitchen than having this big stressful moment that like
Yeah.
feels manufactured. There's so much about our lives that to say, pause, let me get that take again. I don't want it to be my proposal.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally
for
get it.
sure.
Well, thank you for
There are
being
also
here.
some,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, of course. No, I was gonna say, like, I think that there are also some, like, I think I see you be so mindful about like making things organic too. And there are some creators who just don't feel that way, and I never want to be that.
I get that. I get that. I never, yeah, there's things where I just go, oh, that doesn't like feel right for me. And I think people can read it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful for what you're doing in the world. Whoever
Thank
gets the opportunity to follow you and end up being able to benefit from your IVF journey and any giveaway you do is going to be so blessed. How can people follow you, Emily?
My handle on TikTok is Emily Adonna with two A's, and then on Instagram it's just one A at the end.
Okay, awesome. All of
Yeah.
her information will be in the show notes. Thank you for being on Queer Women Rising. If you love this show, share it with your queer friends, maybe your friends who are considering IVF right now, because there's a lot of reasons to follow Emily for that journey. And if you're looking for love, I'd love to see you inside of my lesbian dating platform, the Queer Country Club. It is for monogamous lesbians who are truly ready to find the one. If that's you, go to the link in the show notes or queercountryclub.com. And if you have any questions, of course, you can DM me on Instagram as well. Go out there and have a queerfully joyful day. Bye, Emily.
Bye.